Push it live, Matthew. There you go.
It's also good that you didn't say, what the hell is something
else.
Something else wrong.
Why is this bleepity bleep not working? Can you hear me, Mad Dog?
Oh, I wish we still had that audio. Do we have that somewhere?
Of Paterno?
Yes. Well, it was both are deceased. Both individuals in the Steve Dumig and Paterno go.
That's right.
Yeah.
Neither are here.
No.
That's the thing.
Both have been dead for some time.
As you get older, though, there are certain TV shows or movies you see. I'm like, you know what? They're all dead. I can't believe it.
Everybody in this picture is dead. Look at that. No, I know. It is strange. Those two have been dead for some time. I think you'd be surprised.
Won't be long before you watch The Godfather. You're like, all dead.
Everybody dead.
Everybody's
there
dead.
We go. Look at that.
We're getting there.
Good to be with you. Happy Libations Friday. We made it. We made it, kiddos. My thanks to the Pensacola Seminole Club. We had a great time out there last night, myself and Corey Clark. I want to thank everybody that made that happen. That was a lot of fun, and it was good to meet so many different people and have their story, and ours come together and kind of have fun reminiscing of Florida State football seasons of yesteryear, but the upcoming one as well. It was a good kickoff party, and they do it every year. It's also good to see, you'll see I got the cap on right now. Old Warchant.com member himself, DC Reeves, who's over there and basically the mayor of Pensacola these days. And I mean, quite literally going to be. And I went to his fun institution as well and said hello. So it was great. Thank the fine folks at DeLuna Coffee. Ed did a great job. I brought home a lot of coffee.
You did? Great. He promised some that I could give to my wife who loves coffee.
I did, or he did?
He did.
Oh.
He promised that he
didn't tell me to
some
give you
to
any coffee.
For me.
Yeah.
Oh, he'll put it in the chat, man.
Yeah, I got
He'll put it there.
Yeah.
It's proof.
No, I'm sure that I have more than enough coffee to be able to hand that off. So, it's funny because the questions that abound as we get this close to a season, and games begin tomorrow. We got a lot of questions last night about the quarterback position, and you're in a bit of a bind in that moment. So it's just because.
Yeah, how did you answer them? That's what I want to know. Given that we have a couple of restrictions on how we can talk about things and the way we can talk about things.
It's kind of more the way. Yeah, well, listen, we're never, the bottom line is we have said that we're not going to discuss injuries, and that'll be a policy all year long, whether it's a quarterback, a receiver, the second string linebacker, doesn't matter. You're not going to report that without first asking the head coach about an injury so that he has an opportunity to answer, but more importantly, so that they have, as a staff, an opportunity to inform the young man's parents of an injury.
It's a common courtesy.
It is a common courtesy that if you're going to be allowed to watch practice, then you don't do, a-holic things like that. You got to, you got to do the right thing.
Looks like Jerry Smith's on the cart. Looks serious.
Yeah.
Like that, no,
you don't tweet that.
You don't tweet that. That's not what
no.
you do.
And that is not a burden. That's not difficult to abide by. It's respectful. It's the right thing to do. And there's a few other, guidelines, such as you're not going to talk about certain formations and strategies and things that could compromise Florida State heading into a football game. Those are all easy things to adhere to. I think the hardest thing, and just like this question in and of itself continues to be, look, the guys on the boards, the people on Twitter, the people that stop and ask me, they all want to know, well, because Mackenzie Milton was this prized thing that you got in the offseason. And then there was a glimpse, just a glimmer, even a moment of him playing well in a spring game where he dropped some beautiful throws in there. And you thought, oh, okay, well, that was what we were hoping for. And of course, everybody who saw him play at USF got excited. And so, obviously at that point, everybody got geared up for having a more efficient and better and experienced passer come in at quarterback. But at the same time, we all knew it came with risks, and some of that might be whether or not he could get back to full strength and be where he needed to be physically. And I think we've seen, again, just based on load management, that they've really had to manage that situation. I think Mackenzie Milton's going to play football for Florida State this year. I think there's a chance that he'll play good football for Florida State this year. I don't know when. And it doesn't feel like, based on reps, could be completely wrong, but it doesn't feel like, based on reps, that he's going to be the predominant quarterback anytime soon. Maybe he will be. Might be. I could be absolutely wrong. Nobody has said that. There hasn't been any sort of depth chart released or anything like that would suggest that. But just common sense.
Well, if
based on reps.
If not reps, the amount of times you see his name in the update thread on Warchant.
Or the lack thereof.
Right, exactly. The one thing I'd say is, obviously chemistry is really, really important with everybody on offense. Your offensive line, your receivers, to know the ins and outs of how they play the position so you can better govern the position as the field general, the quarterback. But in hockey, this term is often used. Hell, it's used in a lot of sports, especially around playoff time, right? This guy, he will be able to play because it's a playoff game. Sometimes even in the regular season, if somebody's held out. If it were a playoff game today, this player would go, but they're holding him out for precautionary reasons. Is it a situation in which, because it's a game, McKenzie would be ready to play, but since it's practice, you know what I mean? Like the example would be, it's a random, Wednesday. And maybe in the update thread, you're seeing a ton of stuff about Bailey Hockman and Chubba Purdy. Maybe Jordan Travis is thrown there a little bit, and you're saying, okay, oh, look at that. Geno English, the quarterback, made a couple of nice throws. I'm glad to see. There's a name missing. I wonder if behind the scenes, the attitude would be, if this was a game day, he'd be there. Since it's not, maybe the update thread is going to have other quarterbacks on it.
Maybe. I don't know. It would be speculation on my part, probably the kind that would be frowned upon. But I don't know, man. I don't know of situations where, even with load management, that you'd have a guy not practice as much or miss significant time, whatever it is. We don't see everything as he has this fall. Because, again, at some point, you've got to flip the switch and ready yourself for a big-time game in prime time against a really good football team. And it's almost unfair sometimes to any kid anywhere to say, now get in there and get him, if you haven't been getting those, the amount of reps you'd like. Now, maybe they are comfortable. It very well could be. Again, it very well could be. But I find it unusual. So, and it's not, it doesn't have to be some sort of secret society, nefarious sort of element. It's just a matter of making sure he's physically where he needs to be, as well as mentally, checked in and ready to go. And so it could be that it's just going to take a little bit longer. Could be that I'm wrong completely, and they go out there on a week from this Sunday and play exceptionally well with both guys. I don't know. Maybe
the deload plan was the one that, won the day, and the plan they had ready to go was executed to perfection, and they let him peak at the right time, which is Sunday, September the 5th, 7:30 p.m. kickoff inside of Bobby Bowden Field, Doak Campbell Stadium, and everything's fine. That day is approaching so closely that it feels real now. There are times when you say September 5th and you're like, whatever. Now it actually feels like it is kind of around the corner.
Well, I am in desperate need of sitting down and watching football that matters, games that count. I'm excited about it. I'm ready. We've had a busy off season. And it's not a woe is me thing at all. We are so fortunate to work in this industry and to be able to do what we do. So I don't want it to ever sound like that, but every job, we all have these moments where you get really busy and you ramp up to things. And we've been ramping up. I mean, we have the pregame show, obviously, that we're going to be doing right here on 93.3 Real Talk Radio, that I'm really excited about working with you again on that, because that's a different element of what we do. It's a different aspect of what we do, and I really like it. Feel like over time we've gotten better at it. But I'm really excited about analyzing the games this year, going in, like, for example, the Notre Dame game. Yeah, obviously, we're all excited. First primetime game back at Doak Campbell, and there's a lot weighing on that game, but this season in general. But I like the week-to-week read and react, kind of watch what we saw, talk about it, go back and look at it again, and then present the next week's game, as we will each week for these pregame shows, Tallahassee Game Day, because this is a team that I think from one week to the next has the potential to show an awful lot of growth in varying degrees and areas. And it may not be, how they say the greatest jump comes from week 1 to week 2 and all that. I don't think with this schedule, you'll really be able to know that, because the second game is a walkthrough. But I do think that if you have a group that is committed, locked in, focused, believing and fighting and maturing along the way, that you will see constant growth and constant adjustments to what we're kind of learning about this group. So I'm ready to get the whole season underway. I want to do that with Florida State every week, but I want to do it with college football because it's a sport I love. And I think that last year we were kind of all going through the motions. We were just trying to find some semblance of normalcy. We needed games to be played because that's what happens Saturdays in the fall. The games are played, and we were all dealing with, quarantine and everything else that we were dealing with. You just anything that made you feel kind of normal. But to be sure, nothing about last year was normal in the world of college football. Routinely, games were getting canceled as we were getting set to sit down. I'm not talking about just our games. I'm talking about across the country.
But even for us, you wake up one morning for the Clemson game. There's a release at 8-something in the morning.
Yeah.
It's canceled. We were on the air for a game that was canceled. Remember that? We were doing the pregame show. We were in hour 2 of the pregame show when the news came down. I mean, it's just, you could never settle in your chair and say, this is going to happen. You always had to be on edge, because even then, let's just say you got into the stadiums and the teams are warming up. Even then, you had to grab the binoculars like our own Irish NFL does.
Yeah.
What numbers are missing out there? They're not going to volunteer this information, but what numbers are missing today? And you had to report that. Like, there was never a moment that you could just settle down, kick back, and say, it's Saturday. Hopefully this year provides that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm referencing. I thought about it last night, talking to the fine folks at Pensacola. Hey, everybody in this room obviously they love Florida State, but they love college football. And this feels a little bit more because we've had practices every day and we've read the reports around the country. And we know that, and look, there are some things seemingly set in stone. I mean, when you do these previews, and I'm doing a lot of them now more and more. I was doing a lot of research for Georgia and Clemson, one of the games that I'm most excited to watch. There are some things that you can write in pen, in ink, and some that you have to write in pencil. But one of the things that really occurs to me as I watch the highlights of those teams from a year ago and the year before, and I look at their personnel, there are 4 to 5 elite level, just from a roster standpoint, teams that you can set it and forget it. That they have not only recruited to that level, but they've recruited to that level year over year. So, yeah, they lose 2 receivers at Clemson that are going to be vital to help DJ out, but they bring back Justin Ross, who missed all of last year, and it's not like he doesn't have close to 2,000 yards receiving in his career already. So Ohio State's that way. They lose an elite quarterback, and there are questions about that, but Alabama, even with Bryce Young, is going to be good. I mean, we'll see what he is. He's going to be good. Just a hunch. They're going to be a good football team, right?
Well, at Ohio State, if Olave comes back, a talent like that tells you what he thinks about the quarterback.
Right.
That's going to be, manning the offense and running things, because you wouldn't come back if you think you got a slappy, to use a Jeff Cameron Show term.
Yeah. There are no slappies at Alabama and Ohio State, and typically, unfortunately for us in the ACC, at Clemson, they just keep reloading at that position. They keep reloading at a lot of the skill positions. And so those teams are almost boring. Not boring to preview because there are going to be heavyweight fights, and we get a heavyweight fight right off the bat with Georgia and Clemson. But I think when you get past, say, 5, Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State, Alabama, those teams that, we all know are going to be locked in there as elite teams. Did I name every one of them? Clemson, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama. So 5.
Oklahoma, yeah.
I can't leave Oklahoma out of that list.
Ooh, okay.
I don't leave them out in the sense that they aren't loaded with talent. They are. They still play in that sorry-ass conference. They almost just breeze their way to they'll lose a game they shouldn't lose. They always do. They haven't had an undefeated campaign in that conference since 2016. So they're going to lose a game they shouldn't. They do every year, but then they find a way to sit atop that conference because at the end of the day, Riley's the best play caller in that conference, and they have more talent. So it's going to work out. But I still I'd separate Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State, and Alabama just a notch.
Quick question on Oklahoma. By the time Oklahoma moves to the SEC, and it could be sooner than later because maybe they negotiate a buyout or a settlement, is Lincoln Riley the coach of Oklahoma or the Dallas Cowboys? Because that McCarthy thing ain't going to work, and we knew that from day one.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work either. If you watched, have you watched any of HBO's Hard Knocks?
I've watched one press conference with Mike McCarthy, not Hard Knocks, and I've seen all I need to see. That dude's going to die. He's getting bigger by the day. I don't think he's happy.
You're saying he didn't want to be here?
Well, if here is the Cowboys training facility, yes.
Here on Earth. Yeah.
That's debatable.
Yeah.
But I believe that he does not want to be at the Cowboys training facility. He looks absolutely miserable.
Well, I think he's a dead man walking too in more ways than one. But I would tell you that that team, I don't know, man. When I watch that show, first of all, that show this year, what a snooze fest. It's terrible. Everything about it is awful. And I usually love that show.
It's kind of like watching Cowboys football for the past 20 years, where they're like, it's going to be our time.
No.
And that division of late,
not going to be.
8 and 9 is going to win that division again this year.
No, Washington will be better than 8 and 9.
9 and 8 then.
I think they'll be better than that. I think they'll go 10 and 7. I think Washington's pretty good. I think Washington's pretty good. The football team's pretty good. Listen, that show's been terrible. But how did we get sidetracked here? We were just talking about the NFL.
Sorry, yes, you were mentioning the oligarchy.
The
oligarchy of college
Lincoln
football.
Riley should have been named the head coach before they went the route they did. But
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, he's a good coach. But when you get outside that group and you just look at the rest of college football, it does become very, very interesting. Now, that both is fun for us as fans, but it also represents the problem with college football currently, is that, okay, there's this group. That's about this group here. There's maybe 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's everybody else, and it's not that close. Is there somebody, I think one of the college storylines this year is there somebody outside of that group that you could tab that might kick in the door and say, we're here? And I'll tell you that the expectation is that team is Texas A&M. So maybe we shall see. That is an interesting dilemma, and I think it's something to keep a close eye on. First of all, they play in the most ridiculously talented and deep division in football. Secondly, you brought in you have a new quarterback, so you're breaking in a new quarterback. Now, I didn't think Kellen Mond was very good. So to me, it shouldn't be. Those aren't big shoes to fill,
right?
In my opinion. But we'll see. Not everybody seamlessly transitioned. He did have 1 million starts under his belt.
They lost a lot on the offensive line. I think that's the number one question for them.
It's still going to be a really good offensive line.
Yes, it is. They've got a good running back. They've got a quarterback that he likes. That defense with Elko continues to improve.
Going to be one of the best in the country.
I know that doesn't make a lot of people happy around these parts, and I'm not rooting for Jimbo per se.
I don't care one way or the other.
But I would say that if there were potato chips on a season-long wager, I might be rooting for A&M in a very cold-blooded manner. Because I looked at win totals.
What? Is it 10 or 9.5?
9.5.
Yeah, you took the
If you look at the way that schedule lays out for them, it's ideal.
Yeah, 10-2 is written all over that schedule.
It's a total build-up to a big moment.
Mm-hmm.
They host Alabama, so they're the best chance possible of beating Alabama. They host Auburn as well.
Auburn's going to suck. Don't worry about that.
Right? LSU at the end of the year, I don't think they have to worry about.
Question for you with LSU. Here's a fun one for all of us as we look at big picture college football.
They're only a 4-point favorite against UCLA in week 1.
Well, I'm going to be watching that game very, very closely, I might add. And UCLA is going to get a glimpse at them tomorrow, by the way, against Hawaii. So you get a little bit of Chip Kelly there. Weird team last year. UCLA's numbers are all over the map. They actually they were all at once this close to being very, very good and this close to being very, very bad. It's a tough read with them. But I get a sense that they're about to be pretty decent. Let's see what LSU is. There is a sense that LSU is about to crumble, that the program is going to collapse despite the talent that they have. Now, that sounds extreme, and somebody would go, what? But if you don't believe Ed Orgeron has things buttoned up and that guys are all in with the Ed Orgeron plan, and that instead he caught lightning in a bottle with a boy wonder OC and a quarterback that became one of the best in college football history for a season, and you think, well, Ed O prior to that incredible run really was a guy that we didn't think very highly of, just a unique personality in college football with a strange voice, but not somebody that we all thought that's a mastermind. There's a guy that can run and build a program. You didn't say that about Ed Orgeron. So if you believe that that's about to fall off a cliff, then they're going to go 6-6 or 7-5, and he's going to be fired or something close to it. If you believe that last year was largely because of COVID and that they've stockpiled enough talent that simply can't happen, then they're maybe a 9-3, 10-2 team.
Right.
They're hard to kind of figure, and it's kind of fun with that.
Yeah, Brad's kid might be a good quarterback, right?
Oh, he is a good quarterback.
Yeah,
I just don't know if it'll matter.
That's an eraser, though. That can get you to 8 or 9 wins. I know it's a tough division, but again, you mentioned it before. It's not like Auburn's up right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's A&M and Alabama. Those are the principal competition. And then, I mean, one would think they could go out to the West Coast and beat UCLA. If they don't, that's an early signal. That is a bad signal, and I believe it'll be the second time that a game in the Rose Bowl will have Jimbo's agent calling another athletic department and saying, hey, you guys interested in my client? Because remember, it was A&M at UCLA.
He's not walking away from A&M if they win 11 games, as you're predicting, or 10 games. I don't think that's going to happen. He'll have the draw will always be there. The lure will always be there.
He'll at least leverage it for a $3 million a year raise.
I mean, he's always going to yearn for his ex, which is LSU. But he is happily married, I think, at A&M. I mean, they have nice things. It's working out okay for him, you know. It doesn't mean he's not checking his
TV in here.
It doesn't mean he's not like, let me check the Facebook mentions, see how she's doing. Okay, good. Dose!
Is that Dolby 5.1?
It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
It's pool season, and the huge pool at Killearn Country Club is ready for you. Pool memberships are just $5.99 for the season through September and come with poolside service and unlimited access to the 19th hole. Live the country club life without the country club price. And don't miss the weekly themed Thursday night dinners featuring exquisitely prepared meals paired with the best wines. Stay up to date with all the events and club deals at KillearnCC.com. That's KillearnCC.com.
Let me tell you what T-Spark stands for. It stands for strength, commitment, teamwork, and heart. We don't ever quit until we've got nothing left to give. Our team is unstoppable. Want a guaranteed win? Call T-Spark Enterprises for your next roofing or construction project. We conquer all peaks. TSparkConstruction.com. License number CCC 1331204.
Barry knows cool, he's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool, you can put him to the test.
This is Tyler from Barano Heating and Air. This summer you can save money and stay comfortable. Ask about our annual service agreement with no overtime charges ever. At Barano Heating and Air, we're always there for you. Online at BaranoAC.com.
Keeping you comfortable is what Barry does best.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
Hey guys, it's Greg Tish. It's summertime, it's grilling time. But with a grill that just won't light, you're just going to end up with the summertime blues. Yeah, blues and barbecue go hand in hand, but if you get a custom outdoor kitchen built from Hearth and Patio, you'll feel like a rock star every time those flames kick on. They also sell a full line of incredible high-end grills like Fire Magic, Blaze, and Broil Master, all designed to deliver the ultimate in beauty, performance, and durability. Everything you need to elevate your grilling experience can be found at Hearth and Patio. In fact, anything related to fire can be found at Hearth and Patio. Fire pits, gas lighting, indoor and outdoor fireplaces, wood stoves, and even custom-built pizza ovens. Go see for yourself. Check out their services and products online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. That's hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Or give them a call, 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282. At Hearth and Patio, they keep the home fires burning.
I call Swain Pools and Spas. Now I'm soaking up the fun when I want to.
I call Tallahassee Car Care and they're fixing my car when I want to.
Hey, what are you doing? This is a Swain Pools and Spas commercial.
I'm turning it into a Tallahassee Car Care commercial.
But Swain Pools and Spas is a full-service shop offering sales, renovation, supplies, and more for years.
And Tallahassee Car Care is a full-service shop offering brake and tire service, batteries, oil changes, and more for years.
But people go to Swain Pools for quality and reliability. Nobody knows more about pools and spas, and Swain has new Caldera spas in stock right now.
And people go to Tallahassee Car Care for their 5-star service at great prices, with most maintenance done by their certified technicians while you wait.
You know what? Just look for the big Swain sign on West Tharp Street, because Swain Pools and Tallahassee Car Care are under the same roof. Online at SwainPools.com.
Online at TallahasseeCarCare.com.
Swain Pools and Spas.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
The day before the start of college football. It is ready. It is about to happen. It is underway tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Nebraska, Illinois. Tom, in the famed Memorial Stadium.
Oh, my. One of a kind.
That game on Fox. Tickets going for $23 if you're in the area. Just so you know. Why am I in Champaign-Urbana when I live in Tallahassee? Don't know, but tickets are just $23. Come on in.
Wait till after kickoff, and they'll be for free.
Connecticut, Fresno State, famed Bulldog Stadium. Of course, you know that. If you're new to the program, then you'll note that I like saying the names of stadiums just because for whatever reason it makes Tom smile.
I took my notes yesterday. I remember it was Bulldog.
You also know that UCLA is indeed playing in the Rose Bowl and thus has the greatest backdrop in all of college football on a weekly basis. Too bad the program is usually not worth noting. They'll take on Hawaii. Do you remember while taking your notes yesterday that the big-time UTEP New Mexico State game will be played where, Tom, at 9:30 p.m.?
Is that the one that has a CU at the end?
No.
Okay.
I love that you went there and you're close in a way. It's Aggie Memorial Stadium,
Okay.
sir.
Aggie Memorial.
Yeah, you didn't remember that. It's Aggie Memorial.
Yeah.
But alas, Southern Utah and San Jose State play at CEFCU Stadium.
There it is.
Later on that night at 10 o'clock.
I missed the penultimate game yesterday in the notes.
The sadness that you'll feel at around 1 o'clock in the morning when the Southern Utah San Jose State game ends will be the realization that you won't be watching college football again until September the 1st. You have to wait all the way to Wednesday, buddy. You have to wait all the way to Wednesday for the big UAB Jacksonville State game.
There's no sadness at 1 in the morning. No, sir. Only sleep or happiness.
Woo-hoo-hoo. You know what's fun for me on a Thursday night is, and maybe sad, some might say that's just sad, Jeff. There's value, Tom. There's a reason to watch Temple and Rutgers next Thursday.
Oh, real value.
I'm just letting you know.
Okay. All right.
There's real value in that game. That's a game we're going to want to tune into.
What do we value about this particular game?
Rutgers needs to get a win there, Tom.
Okay.
They need to get a
That's
big win
what
there.
we value.
Yeah, Greg Schiano's got to get off to a good start.
Schiano needs to make sure that he's listening in on the locker room, making sure that he's breaking privacy laws and he understands his team better than anybody possibly could. Put those Scarlet Knights in position.
Yeah, they're going to have a big year. Big year at Rutgers.
Oh, yeah?
Big year compared to what the expectation is.
4-8?
Yeah, I think they can get there. I think they might be able to get to 5. Might be able to get to 5, Tom. So, yeah, a little something for you. A little something.
Well, tickle me, Scarlet.
I was thinking when we were kind of previewing the year last night, the exercise of doing that, the exercise of going over Florida State. By the way, today was kind of what I would refer to, at least in terms of information, sort of a nothing practice. So if you're wondering why aren't we leading with audio or anything like that, this was not much.
For availability purposes, yeah. They did go in pads, though, at least.
Yeah, no, listen, I think I don't mean to slight Chris Thompson in any way who spoke to the press. That's not typically who speaks to the press, but he's an engaging man and an interesting and good coach. Yeah. In fact,
he was the first person we met at the luncheon.
And we did. And we had a good conversation with him. And you can tell he's a football coach.
Oh, yeah.
something to think about here, and I really enjoyed this, and I'm just gaining some perspective as we get this close to the kickoff of the season. When you're given an overview of what you like, what you don't like, what you're concerned about, what you're really excited about, or what you're eagerly anticipating, obviously you have to take inventory and you kind of go through each of the segment groups, which then allows you to talk about each of the coaches. And I was asked a question last night that I think is relevant as we go into the season. And a shout out to Sean who asked it. It was basically, well, can you name 3 things that you think are different about this staff for those of us that aren't able to see practice and unable to kind of be locked in on a day-to-day basis because we have real jobs? And he didn't say that, but I'm saying it for him, that you're busy, you're out of Tallahassee, you're not here, you're trying to learn from afar what's unique about what this team is or is not, and why we should be optimistic. Because and it's fair. It was a fair question. It was kind of tough. He said, that we heard that things were going to be better under Willie. And so maybe we're a little cynical, jaded a little bit. And I said, that's true. Now, we weren't allowed to watch practice under Willie, not extensively. So I couldn't give you a thorough report of what I was seeing and not seeing. Doesn't mean that I wasn't wrong about the hire. I was wrong about the hire. I've repeatedly said that. I thought at the time that it was a good hire because I thought it was going to be hugely beneficial to sustain recruiting. I thought his ability to recruit, especially in the state of Florida, would be enough to maybe overcome a staff that was lacking a little bit, right? And I was wrong. It turned out that wasn't true. It didn't work out. And so I think if you're a fan and you read warchant.com or you follow the program from afar or you listen to the Jeff Cameron show, you might say, well, I don't know, man. I hear your optimism, but I'm a little uncertain that I should buy in, that I should be all in, because after all, and I hear you, last year was a COVID season, so it's hard to know what they were or were not, but we weren't exactly tearing it up out there. Why should I be locked in believing that everything's going to be okay? And can you give me some traits that seem to be universally lauded and something that everybody, no matter the line of work you're in, needs to be able to do? And I said, yeah, well, work ethic is in place. So, right off the bat, you're not going to see a group of guys outwork. They work hard. That's whether somebody believes in this coaching staff or doesn't. Neither would argue with that. They are working extremely hard. But it's not enough to work hard. It's not enough to work hard. You have to have a plan. It can't just be that you're there 18 hours or 20 hours a day. It has to be that you're doing something constructive for each of those hours. Thus, there has to be, from the top down, a plan. And I think that one thing we can see because of the access given is that there is, without question, a plan in place adhered to by the entirety of that coaching staff. That is a central themed message and belief in the way that they do things, that from coach to coach, segment to segment, is clearly spelled out and bought into by both those coaches and players up to this point, right? We see that anyhow. We'll see how long that's sustains. The first time they, obviously face adversity, we're going to have to monitor the players and all of that. But that's two things. And then finally, they haven't exactly been pie in the sky promising things that the previous administration promised from the day they arrived. This is a group that has said, we're going to work to that end, but they haven't over-promised and undersold. This isn't that group. They have been very, very, I think, pragmatic in their approach. They've worked tirelessly, but at the same time, they're not out here on booster tours telling the world they're about to win 10 games and their offense is going to lead the country in scoring.
And more importantly, they're not in high schools or in living rooms telling the future Noles that's the case. That wait till you see us on Saturdays this weekend, guys. I mean, look at us this season, 9-10 wins, easy. Might win the Atlantic. I'm not sure, but we're going to pull off one of those things.
Yeah.
No, they're telling the recruits that you're the solution. We're building to a place where you're going to put us over the top. Now it's going to be market improvement. Just hang with us. That's the messaging. That's much more realistic. The thing I'd say too is they're getting better. They just are.
Well, I think they're getting better, Tom. But I get it. I'm putting on the fan hat here now, and I'm reading the reports and I'm getting excited about the season. But I live in Tampa or wherever, right? What you can't know until we go out there and watch them play. If we go out there on Sunday night against Notre Dame and they lose 45-7.
Yeah, nobody's going to want to hear that.
Well,
yeah.
First of all, you may very well still be right that they're getting better, but how will that sound and look at 45-7? They're not going to get beat 45-7 probably, but it could happen with this. This is a big time, long haul rebuilding effort. It's hard to go through it. And I just wonder, if they have that happen, will the fans go, okay? More importantly, will the players do the palms to the sky? Okay, let's hope that's where they've grown up an awful lot.
I know you know this. I don't care how it looks. That's how it is. From the spring to now, you see the certain drills they run, the transitions from drill to drill, the efficiency of practice, the shape the players are in, the details about the things they do. There's not as much of the basics that the coaching staff has to go over in the course of an hour and a half or 2 hour practice. They are more efficient. They look better. They look sharper. What does it parlay into? I don't know.
Well, that's why I said you may very well be right.
Right. You're just coming from a valley, a very low valley.
Yeah, I don't like doing the thing where I tell people, or you meet people all the time that will say, well, have low expectations. That way you can't be disappointed. Oh, that's no way to live life. That's not fun. You can't ever be excited about anything for fear that you're going to be let down. That's no way to live life. You can be eagerly anticipatory about any number of things, a vacation, visiting a friend. And even if it doesn't go as well as you had hoped, or you don't get to go play golf because it rained, you can still be excited about the possibility of those things.
Yeah.
And so I don't tell people to quell their expectations or their enthusiasm, but I also say, be a realist about what we're trying to do here and how far we have to go and how far away they were when they got here because of the things that really didn't involve them before they got here.
If you set your baseline of expectations in a realistic place, which is around 5 wins, that's the low end, right? That's the lower half of what they can do this year. Then you can have fun with the process, the climb, as they say. There was something I heard today on SiriusXM that I totally agree with, which is there are some programs in this country where there is no joy in winning. There's no joy in it because you're always thinking about the next thing.
Alabama's one of them right now. Clemson's one of them right now.
And we were one of those programs in the middle of 29 straight. Now,
it was a good place to live.
I like 29 straight more.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
I like living there where you're just satisfied by a 21-point win. I like living in that neighborhood.
I would rather live in that neighborhood, but also there's a lesson to be learned, which is, the rise, enjoy that too. Really enjoy it.
Obviously,
there's going to be a lot of steps we got to take. It's a big staircase. This ain't a 5-step staircase.
Well,
but enjoy every step that we take. And Melissa wrote a comment up that I think is perfect. That these guys are steadfast and realistic about their approach. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's the way they present themselves.
I was thinking to myself when we were talking about living in the 29 straight wins neighborhood. And that it's hard to generate or derive satisfaction from a win because you maybe look sloppy compared to what you're capable of. It's like when you go outside of your mansion and discover that the sprinkler head is cracked. Look at this thing. This is cracked.
Well, screw me.
I'm going to have to get that fixed.
Today's the worst.
John, go get your mother. We've got a cracked sprinkler head. Oh, she's in the spa. All right. Well, we'll tend to this later. That's the neighborhood you're in there with the cracked sprinkler head when you've won 29 straight and you just got to get this fixed.
Remember that. Take a look around. Enjoy it.
Yeah, I know. It's tough. Hey, so Hell to the Nah was asked about because they want to know if we're ever bringing it back. And I believe Ryan did ask about it, so I'll get to it. Please bring back the Hell to the Nah team segment. Why did it go away? Because somebody cashed it in. Woo! We had a rule in place, didn't we? That
but we brought it back even after Oregon State was the one to.
Somebody correctly pointed out that here in the studio we do not have our Oregon State gear that we need to put up for having achieved that accomplishment. And Benny the Beaver,
it's Benny.
Yeah,
somebody called him Bucky.
Yeah,
no, it's Benny. Trust me, he was the one biting my ankle 3 times a week.
Benny needs to bring his gear over here so that we can throw it up. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Franklin County Sheriff A.J. Smith issued an arrest warrant Thursday for FBI Supervisory Special Agent David Harris for indecency with a child. The investigation into Harris stemmed from a complaint made to the sheriff's office in February of 2021. 51-year-old Harris came to St. George Island on vacation with family and friends in July of 2019. During that time, he exposed himself to a then 14-year-old female. Evidence found during the course of this investigation led to other felony crimes committed by Harris of a sexual nature with minors and adults in the states of Louisiana and Texas. Governor Ron DeSantis announced Thursday a new monoclonal antibody treatment site will open in Leon County today. Today, the state has opened 21 sites serving more than 13,000 patients. These treatment sites will be open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and have the capacity to serve more than 300 patients per day. The site is located at the vacant Sears, which can be found at 1500 Appalachia Parkway. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Highs around 92 this afternoon under mainly cloudy skies with scattered thunderstorms likely. Easterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Scattered thunderstorms likely tonight. Lows level off around 74. Overcast. Scattered thunderstorms again tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 91. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 90.
This is Dr. James Ryan Finn with Finn Chiropractic, encouraging you to unmask the cause of your problem. People mask problems with medicine, even with stretching or massage. But if the cause of your problem is pressure on your nerve, you need to unmask that cause. That's what we do at Finn Chiropractic. So if you or a loved one are having neck pain, back pain, or headaches, come in, get the Phenomenal Health exam, and let us unmask the cause of your problem. Remember, chiropractor loves you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Saints expected to name Jameis Winston. Yes, people have eyes. Good Lord, I would think most assuredly the head coach does since he calls the plays.
I thought people make computers.
As expected, following Monday's second preseason outing, Jameis Winston is in line to be the New Orleans Saints starting quarterback this year. Ian Rappaport reports. You know who else did? Some dude named Keith in Memphis sitting his fat ass on a couch who has eyes. It's not hard, man. That's not a big football decision. If you've seen Taysom Hill play, you're like, oh, that's cute.
At I Love Beale Street 52.
I mean, he's a nice Swiss Army knife that you can utilize. Taysom, that is. He's a football player, big, strong kid. Not an NFL starting quarterback. Not close. Not close. Good enough in a pinch. You can scheme it up, especially with Sean Payton. He's awesome. And with that defense, you can get a win.
Well, how awesome is Sean Payton, though? Really?
I think he's really good. I think he's a really good play caller.
He's awesome enough for one Super Bowl with Drew Brees for 15 years.
Yes.
That's not that awesome.
I still think he's really, really good, and so do you. It's fun to take shots, but he's a good play caller.
It's a results business.
He had a pop gun arm for the last 3 years, and he did a whole lot of winning with an offensive game plan that involved throwing the ball 4 yards from the line of scrimmage. And they kept beating us and everybody else.
Not everybody else.
Well, at some point, you get exposed when you get in the playoffs and your quarterback.
I'll grant you the pop gun arm
is a slappy.
That means he had 12 years. 12 years with Drew Brees. And one Super Bowl that was largely aided by an onside kick and a pick six.
Which he called for. I mean, come on.
My God, if Drew Brees is so great and Sean Payton's so great,
I still
he'd
think
have more accolades.
Well, I do think that we're a little spoiled, given that the quarterback who led Tampa Bay to their second Super Bowl has 7 of them, and so we kind of almost inherit some.
Well, that's just amazing, though. Bruce Arians 1 for 1. Can he go 2 for 2? That would make him much better than Sean Payton, wouldn't it?
No, it wouldn't. And you don't think that. In fact, you don't really think Bruce Arians is a very good coach. So
I thought he did. He was very good at getting out of the way last year. He was very good at getting out of the way.
You have ripped him time and again. You don't think he's
somehow he's going to win more than Sean Payton,
right? Well,
at a much more efficient clip.
It helps to bring in the greatest quarterback in the history of football.
It was about Joe Namath's age.
And still slinging it. I would also, one of the funny things too with the Bucs, and we'll have to go back and look at all this when it's all said and done after maybe they went back-to-back Super Bowls and make a run at a third. But we were saying it as Bucs fans for a while as this was building and building and building. Man, the pieces are happening. Like, that's the right pick at linebacker. That's the right pick at wide receiver. That's a good pick at right tackle. That's a good pick at that was like they were bringing this roster together the whole time. And I always hated it for Jameis that it happened the way that it did. It was necessary. It ended up working out, so you can't regret it. But it's not like Tom Brady walked into a team that didn't have anything. They're fairly loaded.
No, well, that was a team that defensively was getting way better by the end of Jameis last season. Way, way better. And then, imagine if Jameis had Tristan Wirfs.
Well, that's what
he had the stable of running backs.
Right.
And a Gronk would have never come out of retirement for Jameis, so you'd have to throw that out the door.
Well, there are a lot of things you can't. It's the apples to oranges thing. I mean, there are a lot of things. I mean, that I do think the leadership dynamic and some of the other aspects plays into all of this too, and guys playing for people.
That's true. You know what? I thought that was all nonsense.
Yeah,
Mumbo jumbo, and it was Belichick, and he created the culture, and then you see these guys and the way they've changed their work habits, and you're like, oh, well, there is something to. It's more than just snake oil and weird water.
Yeah, man. And if you've ever been around, well, it could be a workplace thing, but it could be, it's especially true in sports. If you're ever around like one of those guys, you know it instantly. Like that's a dude right there.
Right.
That's a guy.
Well, because you could stop worrying about your own self and say, he's got it.
Mm-hmm.
I can put my burden on him. He's got it. No problem. That's a freeing thing, especially for young players who hadn't had experience in the playoffs. Now they have tons of experience. All they know is winning.
Yeah, just believing, just knowing that guy's going to erase your mistakes and that he's going to make all the right plays repeatedly. Yeah, that's helpful. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Have you ever finished a painting project at your home or business and thought to yourself, wow, that was fun. I really like how sore my arms and hands are. And those sloppy edges and corners, I'll get used to it. Not a chance. So before you get all your brushes and rollers and buckets and blankets, contact B&B Painting of Tallahassee. Interior painting, exterior, commercial, whatever you need painted, B&B Painting of Tallahassee is your first choice. Get a fast, friendly, and free quote today with a quick visit to bnbpaintingtallahassee.com. That's B&B Painting Tallahassee.com.
This is an insurance market alert from Barbara at Faircloth Insurance in Tallahassee. A few months ago, I asked you to contact your legislators to help stop the skyrocketing property insurance rates in Florida. Other states average 2 lawsuits per day on property insurance claims. Florida has 384 per day. The property owners of Florida are being taken advantage of, but it is not by the insurance companies. The companies are paying out 10 times the cost of a claim or more that would have been paid anyway. People are canvassing neighborhoods, knocking on doors, suggesting that the property property owner may have some damage. The property owner innocently signs something that turns all control of any claim settlement to an attorney that becomes the person designated to get the claim check and who controls the disbursement of the claim payment. If we want these rates to go down, we must reach out to our legislators and let them know how unaffordable home insurance has become and that we want them to support reform that will fix the issues. This has been an insurance market alert from Barbara at Faircloth Insurance in Tallahassee.
When the forgotten poor are in need of healing, they wait for a ship unlike any other. Mercy Ships, a floating hospital staffed by volunteers, heroes of mercy who donate their time to save lives.
Every human has the right to have a place at the table of the human race.
If you could just see the smiles that you get when lives have been changed, then it would make it all worth it.
To learn more about Heroes of Mercy, go to mercyships.org.
You went online to switch your car insurance to Progressive so you could save money, but then you saw a friend request from an old summer camp buddy. And now here you are, clicking through photos of his kickball team from 2011. Oh, looks like they won the championship that year. Then he moved to Tulsa. Oh, a new tattoo. Yes, they said it was easy to save hundreds on car insurance with Progressive, but they forgot about the rest of the internet. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average savings by new customer surveyed who saved in 2019.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
Do you know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
To start the show, and you get carried away, you get excited, you get pumped up about things. Next thing you know, you've just absolutely bastardized the clocks. Your producer's looking at you like, man, that ain't good. So it is a good time to introduce the fact that I hope people keep doing one thing repeatedly, and that somehow the videos end up on a feed of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, continue to try to balance and walk those milk crates because it is fantastic viewing. Please continue to fall and break your ribs, collapsing time and again. I can't stop watching these videos.
The director looks confused. I guess he hasn't
You
seen
haven't
these
seen the
things.
milk crate videos?
Oh
my
goodness.
God, it's the best thing on television. And it's all over the world.
Television, social media.
Whatever it is, yeah. It somehow slipped up. My son walked in and said, "Hey, Dad, have you seen these?" I'm like, "No, what?" He's like, "People are trying to walk on these stacks of milk crates and they're all busting their ass." It's like, okay, that sounds like good television. Let's go. Let's watch this. But it was one after the other. And there are some mighty falls in there.
Yes,
I mean, there's some falls where you go, ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. I cannot stop watching them. If you wanted to start a channel that was guaranteed to hook me and probably countless millions of others, just make sure you're videoing people falling and hurting themselves repeatedly. Whatever, in any capacity, it's the best thing you could ever, as long as they're not dying. I don't want to watch anybody die on camera, per se. But the falling from these crates is the best. You can
Unless
see,
it's the grizzly bear mauling the guy.
oh, then I
which
yes, if you're being an idiot trying to wrestle a bear or fall, yes,
I
that's
thought this was Seminole headlines. I'm hearing about a man being killed by a bear.
There's no Seminoles or headlines anywhere.
I don't know what's the headline in that.
Oh, it's still the best, man. I crack up.
There's an account on Twitter that's it's Hold My Beer that has a lot of these types of videos.
Yes, and it's great.
I saw a
watched that
BMX
too.
guy faceplant the other day.
And you can just root for it. It's great. The only other thing that I watch for a lot of too is when people do escape near-death experiences from animals. So you'll have like a guy's wearing like a GoPro and he's in the forest and on his bike hopping hills and
Those
stuff.
are
And then you
crazy.
see the grizzly charge. And you're like, oh, no. Then you know the last thing those people ever saw. You're like, that ain't good. Hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with.
hear it first on Real Talk 93.3 WVFT, Gretna, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell says terrorist groups have been emboldened by the president's handling of the pullout in Afghanistan. Bob Agnew reports.
Republican Senator Mitch McConnell is taking President Biden to task for allowing the chaos in Kabul that led to Thursday's suicide bombing at the airport, killing 13 U.S. service members. In a statement, McConnell said, quote, "This murderous attack offers the clearest possible reminder that terrorists will not stop fighting the United States just because our politicians grow tired of fighting them." McConnell also voicing worries that current events weaken the U.S. in the eyes of terrorists around the world who will be, in his words, emboldened by our retreat. Bob Agnew reporting.
Meanwhile, the government has opened a mass COVID-19 vaccination site for arriving Afghans near Dulles International Airport, where thousands fleeing the Taliban are now arriving daily. A second mass vaccination site expected to be launched in the coming days for evacuees who will be arriving at the Philadelphia International Airport. Also at townhall.com, Governor John Bel Edwards has declared an emergency for all of Louisiana. Ida is on the way and could be a major Category 3 hurricane with top winds of 120 miles per hour when it nears the U.S. coast. Ida has now just reached hurricane strength. National Hurricane Center specialist Robbie Berg says Gulf Coast residents should follow the advice of local officials.
We're really urging people to just listen to their local authorities. They know what's best and whether or not you should stay or go. And please do as they say if they tell you to leave.
And this late word, the mayor of New Orleans is now calling for everyone outside of the levee system to evacuate. Ida could slam into Louisiana on Sunday. Category 3 hurricanes can cause devastating damage. On Wall Street, stocks remain higher. The Dow is ahead 243 points, the Nasdaq up 185. More at townhall.com.
Hey, Dad, what are you doing? Oh, hi, son. I thought I'd sing for the Legacy Box commercial. No, Dad, I want you to talk about Legacy Box, how it's the best way to digitize your family's home movies and photos. But there's no extra charge for singing. Thank you, but people need to understand that we can take old photos, VHS tapes, even film and transfer them to DVD, thumb drive, or a digital download. Our trained technicians digitize everything by hand right here in the U.S. Don't worry, I'll cover all that. Legacy Box, the best way to digitize home movies and photos so that they aren't lost. Proud of my son and his Legacy Box. Time's almost up. From sea to shining sea. Okay, I'll just read the rest of the ad then. Legacy Box is the best and easiest way to digitize your home movies and photos. Save 40% right now when you go to legacybox.com/lbox. That's 40% off at legacybox.com/lbox. legacybox.com/lbox.
People trust Sellers for better tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring. Sellers Flooring Advisor Ryan Fitzgerald.
We understand most people don't come in with great knowledge of what they're looking for or what they need. So at Sellers, what we try to do is use our expertise to guide you through the process.
Get Sellers working for you.
We make it easy, and we have the experts on staff to get you where you need to be, and we give you the options.
On Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive. Call 656-8453. Online at sellerstile.com.
Warchant.com is the ultimate inside source for FSU football and recruiting. Get in on the action for free for an entire month. Warchant.com is offering a risk-free 30-day trial subscription just by entering the promo code WARCHANT30. That's WARCHANT30. Get in on the world's most active FSU message boards. Receive breaking news, stories from our award-winning staff, plus get exclusive interviews and videos. Just enter the promo code WARCHANT30. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I saw something pop up on my feed a moment ago, and it reminds me, I don't know if you've reached this point yet. Maybe you did long ago. Some of it's oversaturation. Some of it's just also they're impossible to watch because of the way ESPN shoots it. I can't stand the Little League World Series. I hate it, and I wish they'd stop playing it. It sucks. It's the worst, and the people there are the worst. It's awful. Everything about it's terrible. It's boring. It's bad. The umpires are ridiculous. The fans and the parents are absurd. You feel dirty. All of it's terrible. I can't stand it.
I am going to tell you something that might shock you. I fully agree. I can't stand the College World Series. Or sorry, the Little League World Series.
Yes,
the Little League World Series.
It's awful.
Yes.
And it occupies our television.
That was not a Freudian slip.
No, it's on our television.
Even though that ballpark sucks out in Omaha.
It's awful. I can't stand it. And when you get home, you're like, throw on a little MLB action, or maybe even, and then you're like, oh, this again? Oh, great. Michigan's taking on California and a bunch of,
whoa, wait a minute now. They're kids.
No,
the parents are the problem.
No. Nobody's. I didn't say a word about that.
It sounded like you were about to drop down with these slappies.
No, I don't care about those kids. They're whatever. They're little kids playing baseball. Great. The country's filled with
we
little
don't care about
playing.
kids around here. No, sir.
Not on my television at 6 o'clock at night on ESPN. I shouldn't be watching them follow 12-year-olds. It's absurd. Also, the parents, they're all living vicariously through their 11-year-old, living and dying with every pitch, ruining their lives.
Yep.
It's awful. Everything about it is awful.
The first rule of Little League World Series, if you're going to televise it, if you have to televise it, never show the parents. It's easy. Just never show the parents.
But that's all they do.
That's correct.
That's all they do. They are obsessed
with all their cowbells.
It's like it's fan porn reaction. It's just insane. They're all just like, oh, let's get that shot of the dad falling over his seat because his son struck out that 11-year-old in the third inning. It's absurd. I can't stand it. I
wholly agree. It looks like something you'd see on the stage of a Jerry Springer show. People know the camera's on them, and they want to be as silly as possible because they want their 15 seconds while they're actually there for their kids. But they're not really there for their kids.
No,
they're there
that's
for
what
themselves.
It's posturing.
They're
it's
there
the
for
worst.
themselves.
It's so they can tell all their friends. It's awful. Listen, again, nothing against those kids. That who has anything against an 11 or a 12-year-old playing Little League baseball? I mean, I get it. It's a slice of Americana. I'm saying it does not need to be on ESPN at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, prime time. We don't need to see all these games either. These games are ridiculous.
Well, they don't have anything to televise.
Just keep rerunning. Play more Major League Baseball games or show horses standing.
There you go.
Just anything.
I'm with that. Horses standing. How about
birds chirping in the background?
When did ESPN lose the rights to the World's Strongest Man competition? That was always good TV. Every time you turn that on, you had to stay on it for at least 2 or 3 minutes. Dude's pulling a bus. Look at that.
Well, I don't care about the bus pulling. It's the giant rock picking up that amazes me. The boulders.
Or the Atlas Stone.
Yeah, you're like, holy moly, look at this fatty.
Or it's the Africa Stone. That's what it was. It looks like the giant continent of Africa.
Massive.
Holding it up.
Well, and the ones that are tough to get a hold of, like they're smooth edged and round, and so you can't pick it. It's
you gotta
awful.
set them
You're
down.
like, I gotta place this on my knees. I'm about to shatter everything. You're like, yes, you are. This is great.
That's right, Magnus.
Yeah.
There you go.
Magnus or Magnuson is about to pick that thing up
That's
and run
right.
500 yards with it, and it weighs 10,000 pounds.
They are Norse gods, those guys.
It's absurd.
And then they had the keg toss, and there's a bar you had to throw it over on the beach. Remember that? They get down the squat, and they fire the keg over the bar.
Those kegs cannot be full.
Probably not.
You cannot. They cannot be full.
If you could pick up the Atlas Stone.
Oh my God.
You can fire a full keg 20 feet in the air.
I would rather watch the spelling bee than the Little League World Series. I just watch kids spell words. That's fine. That's better than the Little League World Series. We've overdone it.
Yeah, you know why? Because they don't cut to the parents disappointed when the kid hears the bell because he spelled it wrong.
I mean, I feel bad for the stressed out kid who looks like he's been pushed beyond reason to this point, or she. But still,
it's another way that a parent lives vicariously through a kid. Let's be real.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. But
you're going to be a senator.
It's just troubling. There are a million baseball games on every day. Play one of those. Throw one of those on. I know. You go
strikeouts and walks.
No, baseball's been good this year. It's been very good. I've watched a ton of it. If you flip around, it's every night there's great, compelling baseball on. It's been a very good season, and you've got incredible storylines going on right now. Actually, baseball's had a good year. It's doing well, and it doesn't hurt them that they've had transcendent players. Shohei Ohtani doing things that we haven't seen people do since Babe Ruth. You know, the Yankees have now won 12 straight games. I hate the Yankees, but it's a good story. It's good for the sport. I don't like the Yankees. It's great for the sport if you're trying to get eyes on sets.
Well, yeah, if you're looking for playoff revenue and ratings, then yeah.
That kind of matters.
It's big time for MLB.
It's really good for them, and it's happening. It's been really, really good.
How about we combine two worlds and have a relay race in which one of the relay legs is a kid spelling a really difficult word, and then once they once they do, that means that the second leg of the race can take place, which is a World's Strongest Man event. You combine these little children with these giant men, and it's a race to see who can complete their two tasks the quickest. That would be amazing television.
So you just thought about this just now? It's just like, it sounds well thought out, well planned.
Well, a lot of things that I think of are well thought out, just by definition. But because we were discussing it, I'm thinking, okay, I'd watch the spelling bee. I'd watch the World's Strongest Man, of course. Why don't we put them together? You put that kid on a beach on a stage and you ask him a word that we never heard of, and he's saying the origin, and like Magnus is like,
running around. Come on, let's go.
We all know it's Latin origin. Let's go. I got to lift a keg.
I would tell you this. So when you're talking about the CrossFit games and things that we could watch instead of watching those kids, which is anything, like I said, a horse standing in a field. I would go back to this, though. That crate challenge every night when I get home, watching people try to walk on those crates, far more entertaining than watching the Little League World Series. Way more.
Now, maybe they could make the Little League World Series more watchable if that's what the parents had to do. You want your FaceTime on the camera, you've got to walk across these crates. I bet they would, too. They're that desperate.
Florida State practiced in full pads today.
Good segue.
And, once again, I'll knock on wood here, but we continue to get through day in, day out, in which these practices conclude, and we're not hearing of significant injuries and time lost. Now, somebody might counter, I'm not reading a lot about Mackenzie Milton either, Jeff. Yeah, I got you. And I would tell you that at this point, I've kind of, in my own mind, thought that Jordan Travis is going to be the guy. Now, again, that's my opinion. Coach Norvell hasn't said that, and nobody's told me that behind the scenes, but I think it stands to reason at this point that he's going to be the guy for this game anyhow. We'll see what happens moving forward. And it doesn't mean Mackenzie won't play in this game.
It's a critical week of practice to see if there are updates that include the name Mackenzie Milton. Plain and simple. They're going to go.
But I want to do this. I want to hyper-focus on the steps and strides made by Jordan Travis, because I think that kid continues to be kind of the story of camp for me. I mean, there are other guys emerging, some of the younger players. It's fun for us to talk about Shaheem Brown in the secondary and Kevin Noles in the secondary, a lot of guys in the secondary. And there, again, there are emerging players on offense that aren't quarterbacks. For example, we've all been really enamored going back to spring with Malik McClain. And how consistent can he be as a true freshman receiver? Because his body type suggests a couple years down the road, he's going to the league.
Not a freshman, but the emergence of Jordan Wilson offering another element to this offense that can open up different pages of the playbook that they had not before.
Which was something that, last year they did well, which was run the football, and he's going to help you run the football, which then gives you an opportunity, obviously, to not be pigeonholed in 3rd and long, which they really couldn't excel in last year because neither the quarterback nor the offensive line could hold up in those situations. So you're exactly right. I think, another big storyline has been Keyshawn Helton. We've talked about that a lot. He has been Mr. Consistent at these practices. His speed and quickness is back to where it should be, and I'm rooting for that kid. You root for kids who overcome injury and work hard and are great team players, and all the the stuff that kind of you can roll your eyes at, but truthfully, they need a lot of guys like that. They're not only great role models for the other players, but he's also very talented. So that's huge. Those storylines are all in play, and it's something to be excited about. But to me, the relative consistency with which Jordan Travis is throwing the football is night and day from a year ago. That doesn't mean he's an upper echelon passer in the ACC. It doesn't mean he's going to be an elite thrower at any point in his career. It does mean that they have a chance to do a lot more with him, though, throwing the football. And it doesn't always have to be some sort of gimmicky thing. And it doesn't always have to be because of the threat of his legs. I think he's improved that much. And bravo to you to that young man for doing that. Because it gives Florida State a chance that if for any reason Mackenzie Milton can't go and isn't able to play the way that we thought he might be able to, or isn't able to give you the amount of reps, or you just, load management is such that he's going to miss significant periods of time. Whatever the reason, doesn't matter. If I had told you that at the time that he came over, that it was going to turn out this way, where we were going to have to continue to really monitor the situation, and we were worried about how many snaps he'd get in camp because of load management or whatever else, then you would be really nervous. And now I think that you're saying, okay, well, we know Jordan was a dynamic runner, but, he's gotten a lot better as a passer. So, good on you, young man. Let's see what he can do. Let's see how far he's come.
Still, the thing I'm looking for in this game against Notre Dame is if he is going to take the bulk of the snaps, let's just say that for the argument that that's the way it's going to be. When he's off schedule, when he's dropping back and the first read is not there, what is he coached to do? Like, I know what his instincts can do when he's out in the open field and he breaks the pocket, but what is he coached to do? Is he coached now to stay there for an extra tick or two, get to progression 2 or 3, or is it a couple of reads and go? Because we've seen different quarterbacks over the year coach different ways. Most famously, Vince Young, right? That changed everything about who he was. I'm comparing Jordan Travis to Vince Young. I'm only talking about the emphasis on what you see, when you see it, and when you let your athleticism take over. Because this offense is going to be predicated on getting the ball out of the quarterback's hands for a couple of reasons. Namely, the offensive line inconsistency is one of them.
It's a big one. That's a real big one.
But then also, that's the style of Norvell's offense. You could see it back in his Memphis days. They have a lot of flares, a lot of screens, tunnel screens, quick hitters. They give the quarterback the option at the line of scrimmage, especially when they can run the ball like this one, where you've got a zone read with an element to throw the ball. But a lot of quick decisions need to be made. My question is, do you let him get to a third progression or a fourth progression to the backside of a read? Or do you say 1, 2, go, 1, 2, go?
Yeah, I think that his self-preservation instinct will kick in there.
If it does, that's good news for us.
I mean,
he's got to slide more.
Yeah, I don't know at any point that he's been able to get to a third progression here. I don't think he's gotten to his third receiver in a read, maybe ever.
Right, but Notre Dame's going to confuse him. My point is the growth.
Well, but I'm talking about a twofold. He didn't do it well last year, and that offensive line wouldn't allow for it.
Correct.
So you couldn't rep it. Like, even if you could figure it out, you couldn't rep it because you didn't have the time.
You'll be able to tell, though. You'll be able to tell within a couple of drives, maybe 10 attempts or so, when it's not there, what happens. Because that will teach you as a fan what the emphasis has been in practice.
When you watch certain quarterbacks, and we'll see how far along he is when the games start, obviously. Maybe he's going to shock us all and really be far more dynamic and complex than we've seen him in the past, other than that, obviously, he's dynamic as a runner. But there have been plenty of coaches who've had a player that are explosive. They are explosive players with the ball in their hand. They're average at throwing the football. And everything is predicated on his mobility, and they've just coached to it. They've just said, okay, well, I'm going to coach to it, and just that's what we're going to do, because it's rare you get a guy that can do the things he can do. And we're going to tell him, though, as you said a moment ago, hey, look, man, this is schemed up for you to find this guy. If he's not there, here's the other guy. That's it. That's all. Go and get down or throw it away.
Well, the other question I have, too, because, I just got
pre-snaps are big here for him, too.
They're huge. They're huge. Well,
here.
Yeah. That's also where Devontae Love-Taylor matters a whole lot, because remember when he got here on campus and he first got dinged up and Coach Norvell was talking about the importance of Devontae Love-Taylor, it was, hey, man, even at tackle, he's checking everybody. He's getting our protections all in line, which is rare. Typically, a center is the position you think of as somebody who will call out the mic and say, all right, here are all your assignments. But Devontae Love-Taylor was doing that from the tackle position.
Yes, he was.
So he's going to be critical in that regard. But if you look at the Norvell offenses, typically they want to isolate matchups and give the quarterback less to think about. This is a project I did that's live on warchant.com right now. And it's
good job out of you, buddy.
The 2019 Memphis Tigers against Marcus Freeman's Cincinnati Bearcats, where they played back-to-back weeks for the AAC championship in 2019. But a lot of what's going on, because the quarterback play at Memphis that year was not great, Brady White was not that good, was all right, DeMonte Coxey is our stud receiver. Let's put him in positions where it's a no-brainer read for the quarterback to get rid of the ball. Well, who's the player on this team that you're going to devise those matchups for? That would be my question. If you're trying to make simple reads for Jordan Travis to where this is a matchup we like because this is our best skill position player, like, who would you put at the top of the board if you're Norvell in this particular offense?
I don't think
McLean's not ready for it.
No, I don't think he's ready for
Parchment's not ready for it, I don't think, because he's just so new.
And he's also your deep threat. He's just a guy to stretch the field and allow for some of the underneath stuff to come open.
Are you looking at Keyshawn Helton against, like, you just trying to isolate Keyshawn against the linebacker? Or, I mean, are you just looking for receiver-linebacker matchups? Is it not about a playmaker per se, but just about position against position?
Well, you can do a little high-low, and we've seen Clemson do a lot of this, and other teams do a lot of this, where you're rolling out your quarterback because you want to get him in a one-on-one situation. He can read the end, or
whoever's in conflict.
You can put in conflict, the guy at the C gap, whatever. And then from there, you can say, okay, listen, we're going to have a spot, we're going to have a little 7, we're going to have a little stop.
Right.
So you can roll him out, and he can either throw behind that backer if he flows with him.
Yeah, and
or if he gets one-on-one, he can just beat him, by the way, with his legs
to the
edge.
Well, and Jordan's got that ability. He's got that timing to him already, which is good. But all I'm saying is this is an offense designed for playmakers, right?
So they say.
And it's true. It bore out in 2019. You could see it. Antonio Gibson was put in good situations. Coxey was put in good players. But who are you designing the offense for this year? Like, I don't know if it's for Corbin. I don't know if it, you know what I mean? Like, there's no headliner. I don't think there's
that's
our guy that if we need a play, we go to him.
No, there's not a singular guy. I agree with you. Chef Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Applications, onboarding, payroll, termination. Business owners and managers, these are the processes that take away too much time from what you do best. But what if there was a locally owned, responsive solution that would charge you a fraction of the big national payroll companies? Sound too good to be true? It's not. North Florida Payroll Services is Tallahassee owned for nearly 15 years. And in that time, their prices have never changed. The reason North Florida Payroll Services can do that? Exceptional customer service that constantly evolves with the latest technology. From application to termination, for turnkey service for your payroll and HR services, trust a Tallahassee expert and save yourself time and money. North Florida Payroll Services. Online at northfloridapayroll.com.
Hey guys, it's Greg Tish. You've heard me talk about Southeast Portable Buildings on my show in the past. Now I want to tell you about a new discount program available to everyone who is looking for a portable building in the very near future. If you order now and wait, you'll get a discount rate. Man, that's got a nice ring to it, doesn't it? If you're in the market for a new storage building, you can order now, get it later, and save money instantly. I can go on and on about the ways you can use a new storage building on your own property. Sure, you can use it for storage, but you can also turn these things into anything you can think of, like a workout room, a recording studio, a yoga studio, or a mini repair shop if you're a car enthusiast. And think about this. If you've been paying for a storage unit and you're throwing away that rent money, get a portable building that actually adds value to your life rather than being an expense. Go by and see Southeast Portable Buildings today on West Tennessee Street, just west of Capitol Circle. And tell Mike you want to order now and wait so you can get the discount rate. Is your business interested in exploring safe, secure, remote access capabilities for your employees? Not sure whether to go with a Mac or with a Windows system? Call the folks at Mac & More Systems, and they can give you the guidance to make the best decision for your needs. Visit macandmoresystems.com today.
Choose Hearth & Patio for custom fireplaces, maintenance, outdoor grills, kitchens, fire pits, lighting, and so much more. Check out all of Hearth & Patio's options online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth & Patio, they keep the home fires burning.
Hi, this is Justin Colvin, founder of the Medicare Help Desk. I routinely speak to seniors who are overwhelmed by the multitude of coverage options available to them. That's why I created the Medicare Help Desk radio show. Tune in every Sunday at 11:30 a.m. where I provide clear answers to all your questions about Medicare.
If you're an attorney who struggles with the balance of managing your practice and practicing law, consider Lexicon as your #1 pick. From client intake to billing and all that comes in between, Lexicon doesn't miss a thing. Our comprehensive solution combines best-in-class software and services to take care of your firm's most critical challenges, automating many of the tasks that take time out of your day. It's all about giving you more of your billable hours back. And who doesn't love more revenue? No more searching for practice management that works. Lexicon marks the spot. Visit lexiconservices.com to learn what Lexicon can do for you.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com multimedia network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
It's a lot longer ago than it was at one point when we thought, oh no, this guy's coming to the ACC. And now it's who cares? Who cares that Chris Mack's in the ACC?
Yeah, it's my point that it's funny what happens in the NCAA tournament. You get a guy who engineers a nice run for a team, maybe obviously a kind of a middleweight, if you will, of a conference. And they go on a run, and especially if they beat your team, and in this case they did, everybody clamors and wants that guy. And a lot of guys get awfully rich doing exactly that, but it doesn't always work out. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Still time at Louisville, but Leonard Hamilton has owned Chris Mack, embarrassed him several times.
We got manhandled.
Mm-hmm. You did, Chris. You did, and I'm glad you owned it, though. I've always respected that. He's flat out said it every time it happens.
Got to grab the other one where it goes, like, what the hell? I know people are asking, what the hell? We are too.
But the reason I bring him up now is he's been suspended 6 games without pay. And it's not like Louisville's basketball program hasn't had some setbacks in recent memory. We got
manhandled.
Yeah. When you get suspended without pay for 6 games, you have done something wrong. You, sir, have done something unequivocally against the rules. There's no gray area here. You are in trouble. And it's a failure to follow university guidelines and procedures in dealing with former assistant Dino Gaudio's extortion attempt. While Mack was allegedly the victim in the extortion attempt by Gaudio, his sanctions are unrelated to the attempt. I regret that any of my unintentional actions or failures to follow university guidelines have brought unnecessary attention to our outstanding athletic program. I understand I could have handled matters differently. I accept this suspension. It will kill me to be away from my basketball family in November. I'll do everything possible to set them up for success before and after my time away, and I'm fully confident that our coaches, staff, and student athletes are going to arise to the occasion. He'll serve the suspension from November the 7th to the 28th. When Louisville plays 6 non-conference games, including 2 in the Bahamas during the suspension, Mack will not have access to the team's coaching staff or student athletes, and he's going to forfeit approximately $221,000.
That's painful.
Woo!
Some of these suspensions
That's
with
a toughie,
pay
yeah.
are, $5,000, $10,000, but $200K, that you'll notice that.
As I have said since the beginning of my tenure, we have high expectations for all of our staff members and coaches, and we hold people accountable for their actions. That is according to University of Louisville Vice President Vince Tyra. While we have made great strides over the last 4 years in changing the culture in our athletic department, we cannot afford to have any setbacks, no matter how big or small, in our pursuit. I am confident that Coach Mack now understands the impact of his actions. We do have confidence in him moving forward. Now, Gaudio, by the way, I don't know if you remember this story, plead guilty to a federal charge of attempted extortion. Jesus, Dino, is he still going to be an analyst for ESPN?
They'll find a way. He'll be on Zoom.
He avoided prison time by accepting a fine. He was dismissed from the program. Court documents showed that Gaudio attempted to confront Mack regarding an alleged NCAA violation. According to the document, Gaudio was informed that he would not have his contract renewed. There seemed to be poor chemistry between him and Mack. At this point, he goes to Mack. He's like, oh, really? Trying to get rid of me, are you? What about that thing? What about that thing? You know what I'm talking about.
What thing?
What are you talking about, Dino? You know the thing. Oh, you know the thing.
Park Avenue?
I'll make sure everybody knows about the thing.
Park Avenue and 44th?
I don't know what you're talking about, Dino. Oh, I think so. I think so. Say it a little louder, Dino. According to the document, Dino agreed to pay the 17-month salary either through the University of Louisville or personally if he has to. Yeah, staying out of prison is probably a good idea. That's a tough one. Oh, that's funny. I'll get to a question. I'm trying to find that right balance, guys. Can't be all chat. Woo! Got to run, old friends. Love to hear Jeff's thoughts on the Fighting Frosts versus Fighting Illini. 54.5 seems like fool's gold for the over. Have a great weekend, guys. When I got it. As always, friends, shop around for the best number. I'll just tell you that the best number for me was when I got Nebraska minus 6.5. Not where it sits now. I've seen it all the way up as high as 8 for Nebraska, surprisingly.
Yeah, a lot of the sharps are saying, I don't understand why Nebraska is favored in this particular game. And you're saying that they're crazy. Even your people on VEASAN.
I know they are. What happens is there's blood in the water with Scott Frost, and then the off-season stuff. It could very well blow up in their face. They're right.
One of the guys at VEASAN thinks that the leak of this information that led to Scott Frost being in hot water with the AP is because it's from inside the house. The call is coming from inside the house, and they don't want to pay his buyout. They're done with
it. This would give them the out or serious reduction of that buyout, because it's with cause that you could do that. That very well may be true. And if you're banking on that, it's not illogical. If you think the house is on fire, this is the beginning to the end, we're going to see it start on Saturday, tomorrow at 1 o'clock, in fact,
against Bielema.
When Nebraska loses to Illinois. I understand that camp. The other side of that is continuity, even if it's been a 12-20 stretch, matters, especially in a rebuild. So the longer you're there, the more you're instituting your principles and getting guys to buy in. Then at some point, if there's going to be success, it kicks in. Might year 4 be that year? So I think that, again, Adrian Martinez is an experienced quarterback who, when he plays well, is pretty good. Pretty good. He's not terrible. There's enough experience on this team that if you believe that at some point the guy that went undefeated at UCF and turned that thing into a name is going to get a foothold and get this thing moving in the right direction, then it's going to be now. It's going to be starting this year. Illinois, a new coaching staff. You've got it's Illinois. They don't have good football players. I'm saying I see both sides.
Yeah, they did
side with Nebraska.
Frost and Martinez last year.
Yes, they did.
That'd be the thing.
My man turned it over like 15 times.
One prediction I know that will come true is that this will be the most watched Illinois football game since Juice and Zook were there. I mean, really, because everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's starving for this, and so they're going to tune in.
Remember when Juice went into the big house and beat Ohio State?
I vaguely remember that.
Rolling into the big house.
That's
not the big house. Sorry,
Michigan.
Not Michigan. No, they beat. Well, yes, but they beat Ohio State.
They went to the Horseshoe?
They beat Ohio State. My dad was at the game.
Was he really?
He went to that game.
Oh, with his Ohio State friends.
Yes, he went to that game.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Illinois won that game.
Thanks for the tickets. Boy, today was a memorable one, wasn't it?
What a crazy game, guys. F off, Jim. Go home. I loved it. I had a great time,
stay.
guys.
There's a lot of energy here. None of it's really good, but
yeah, guys seem a little upset. Well, that was a stunning defeat. Yeah, I don't know why I said the big house. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Like and subscribe, friends.
Your local news now.
Tropical storm Ida is gathering strength in the Caribbean Sea and is expected to become a hurricane as it enters the Gulf of Mexico. The latest National Hurricane Center guidance has Ida making landfall as a major hurricane along the central Gulf Coast late Sunday and Monday. As of this morning, neither the Big Bend or South Georgia is located in the cone of uncertainty. Some of the impacts Ida will bring to the Florida coast include strong rip currents and swells. Florida's governor on Thursday stood firm in the face of growing number of public school districts that are breaking state law by imposing universal mask mandates for students to slow the spread of COVID-19. Speaking in Orlando, DeSantis issued a stern warning to any school officials who violate his emergency order, warning there will be consequences. DeSantis said the sweeping mandates are a direct violation of the newly passed Parents' Bill of Rights, which gives parents and guardians the final say over whether their children should be masked in school. This is Rachel N.A. with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at macklemoresystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Highs around 92 this afternoon under mainly cloudy skies with scattered thunderstorms likely. Easterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Scattered thunderstorms likely tonight. Lows level off around 74. Overcast. Scattered thunderstorms again tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 91. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 92.
What do you need tires on? Your car or truck, tractor or heavy equipment? At Nice Tire and Auto Service, we have tires for all of these needs. And we service your vehicle from air conditioning and computerized alignment to oil changes and everything else under the hood. Call Nice Tire and Auto today at 574-4100. That's 574-4100 for your scheduled maintenance. National accounts welcome at Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Blountstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
I'll never forget
that moment.
As long as I
live.
My first call ever as a member of the National Guard.
When we got to the armory, they briefed us on the wildfires. They were getting dangerously close to homes.
Helicopters were going out to drop water on the fires. Guys in the unit were preparing for firefighting with local fire crews.
At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the Florida National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
That case, why they were even there on a felony charge. He actually questioned why they were in court. He thought it was ridiculous. And then only fined Dino Gaudio $10,000 and said, if I could dismiss this, I would. But so he gives him a $10,000 fine. That's the end of the case. And meanwhile, Chris Mack loses out on $221,000. It lets you know who they think was at fault.
Oh, yeah. No, there's no doubt. I think also this is a similar thing to what we were just talking about with the show cause. Maybe Louisville is building something. They've got a suspension on the books that in case that maybe the season doesn't go so well, and only because of the results on the court, they don't like what they see. They've got cause to say, well, we've got a history here. We don't have to pay you your exorbitant buyout, sir.
You know, you would think guys that make the kind of money that these guys do, knowing that if for some reason you're fired, it is a classic, as I have noted before, a kiss my ass on Main Street, as I call it. You know, I always talk about and a lot of people have mentioned this, it's cited frequently. The best day of your life as a coach at a high level is the day you're hired and the day you're fired. When you're hired, obviously you've just received, in all likelihood, if we're talking about you nationally, a dream job. And, you're filled with the belief, as you should be, that you're going to go win and win big and fulfill all your wildest dreams as a head coach. And if it goes awry and you're in hell and you're losing games and the fans are killing you on a daily basis and your name is in the headlines for the wrong reasons, but yet you've got 4 years left on your deal that's guaranteed, that call can't be tragic. The walking into the president's office in which he says, we're going to go a different direction. Thank you for your time. Best of luck to you. With a straight face, maybe even a somber face, you say, I'm so sorry I couldn't get the job done. I wish I could have done better for you. You shake his hand. You walk outside. You drop your pants. You sprint down the hall in the greatest levels of joy imaginable, because now the FU money that you possess to go lay on a beach for the next 3 years, if you so choose, is yours forevermore. Here you go. Parting gift, $8 million. Well, I'll be. To not work, you don't say. That's a great day. That's a great day. But that said, I marvel at the amount of guys that do something that put that kiss my ass in Main Street money in jeopardy. Don't do that. Fail or succeed, obviously, to the best of your abilities, but don't put your money in jeopardy that way. And yet, this is a story we read about on the regular. Plausible deniability is your friend.
Yeah, what's crazy here too is now with the age of NIL, are these stories going to go away largely? Because can't you just, like, for if you're a basketball coach in that sport, before college football and the cheating and scandals was ever really the headline news. I mean, SMU, of course, the death penalty made huge headlines, some other programs in the South, but it was thought for decades that, oh, you think that's college football is bad. Wait till you hear about college basketball. Because it's 50 times worse.
Oh, it's disgusting, sure.
Because you've got so few athletes.
And also so many hands.
Right, who can, bring a transcendent presence to a program, flip it. And one guy can flip a program.
Yeah,
unlike football.
In basketball, that is true.
Right, one dude can change everything. Well, I would wonder, how about the ramifications of NIL on basketball? Do these conversations go away? Like the dirtiness of the sport, because now you can keep it on the up and up.
Let's hearken, in some ways, for the transcendent players like Zion. Let's say, I don't know if Duke did anything wrong. Certainly seemed like perhaps they may have.
Yeah.
But the point would be, he was a YouTube star long before he ever committed to Duke, and Zion would have been able to monetize that day one. I mean, you couldn't surf YouTube without finding Zion dunk videos.
Yeah, the numbers are going to be outrageous. If Alabama's quarterback, who has not taken a snap in a meaningful game yet, can be a millionaire.
And has that been confirmed? I don't know that yet. That has largely been talked about. I don't know that we know.
Wasn't that Nick's estimation, though?
Well, Nick said it was possible, but that's also a nice recruiting.
Sure.
Carrot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's a good message to be sent. I saw that Ohio State had 5 players get deals for cars at a local dealership in Columbus, which is smart. Yeah. That's smart to do. But if that is the barometer, even let's just say it's $500,000, $250,000 for the best football player that's never taken a snap. I mean, for a basketball player, get out of here. If they've got to still do the one and done rule, they're going to make absurd amounts of money at these programs.
Maybe. I just don't know, man. I don't know how much value there is there. Now, it could happen. It's interesting to me that a lot of the people that make the most amount of money early in this process of the NIL aren't big-time athletes at football, basketball programs. They're, to me, obscure nationally, but wildly popular YouTube and social media stars in, like, gymnastics and women's soccer.
Okay.
Internationally, right?
Sure, but here's why I tell you, like the YouTube thing is going to be big for them, because now they can recoup those dollars, monetize the videos, do all that kind of stuff. Hey, by the way, like and subscribe to this channel. But the thing that I'd say is the barometer for the star player. If you've got the NBA developmental, the G League, whatever it is, remember they have that pathway where you can earn, it was like $400,000, something like that, where it's guaranteed for a year. You get training on financial literacy, things like that. Wouldn't that be the starting point? If you're now a one and done type who says, well, I could go this route. Okay, Duke. Hey, listen, Coach K's gone. You want me or not? You want me to be the bridge to get you to the next level?
Yeah.
$500,000. Go find the booster who can make it happen.
It's that this is we're late in the show, and so we can end up having this conversation go on forever about the directions we see NIL going. But it is fascinating that it's already calmed way down, like we predicted. Remember, after that first week, everyone's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And it's calmed way down. And it is still the wild, wild west. They're still going to have to iron things out and figure out exactly how they work it. But as of right now, it's kind of gone quiet.
I just want to know, when is Wuhan Dabo going to resign? There's too much entitlement in this world. We've got sin and entitlement, and now players being paid.
Quote, unquote. Here you go, by the way. Side story. It makes me smile, and I love this too. Fiesta Bowl has secured first bowl game gambling partnership with Caesars Entertainment.
Oh, I knew that one.
Oh, it's never coming. It's never going to happen. Not in our sport. The deal is college football's latest foray into the world of sports betting after shunning the industry for decades. Yes, it is. It was said time and again, going back to Mark Emmert, talking about the impact of sports betting in the world of college athletics. Quote, it threatens the very integrity of all college sports. Now, not even a handful of years later, here we sit on the verge of a new frontier. What a deal. Partnering with Caesars Entertainment is the Fiesta Bowl, and it is believed to be the first sports betting and fantasy gambling alliance between a college football bowl game and a gambling property.
So that used to be the Sony Fiesta Bowl, the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl for a moment there. And
Tostitos.
Tostitos, but the kids for the swag, right? Because we'll be bringing that segment back.
Oh, forget about it. Of course.
I wonder if the bowl swag can go up now because of name, image, and likeness. And if so, would Caesars give the kids an option? You can have a gift suite
or
$500 in chips to a casino near you. What do you want?
You know, by the way, it's an 800-person standing room only area at the the Fiesta Bowl where they have this, and then Caesars becomes a title partner of the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. It's now the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl.
Okay, so it still is the PlayStation.
Yeah, it's the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl, which means
so they're getting some chips.
Well, they may be getting, like, at least they have access to PlayStation 5s. Nobody else does, unless you're you on a random one-off.
That's right. Yeah. It's good for Rocket League.
Just drives me nuts. Caesar's going to make an annual financial contribution to Fiesta Bowl charities, known as Bob Fillmore. Good to meet you, Bob. Oh, it's good to meet you too, Caesars. It's the Jeff Cameron Show. 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
What's important when shopping at a gun store? Let's start with a friendly and knowledgeable staff. Then add top-notch service, great selection and pricing, and a personal shopping experience only found at a locally owned and operated business. And Red Hills Arms, they're right on target. While other gun stores come and go, Red Hills Arms remains Tallahassee's go-to local gun store for all your firearms needs. Stop by today and get welcomed in like family.
Hey, you, can't you read the sign? It says, keep off the grass. Oh, but I just wanted to feel it. Excuse me? I wanted to feel what it was like to have an amazing lawn like you do. It always looks so good, even in the summertime. How do you do it, neighbor? They're called Lawn Johns. They come once a week. Maybe you should give them a call so you can tell other people to stay off your lawn. How's that sound? Ooh, yes. I would love to tell people to stay off my lawn. For the very best in lawn care, call the Lawn Johns at 850-322-2567. Stay off my lawn.
Tallahassee's 30-year-old funny paper and American Legion Post 13 have joined forces to become Major Morale. The new magazine has 4 more pages of post activities and military information that you probably never knew. But don't worry, it's still as politically correct and newsworthy as always. Okay, it's the same funny stuff, but it's still only available at the sponsors' locations like Keith Lawson Services, Tallahassee Automobile Museum, ABC Flooring, or Krispy Kreme Donuts. The country's best donut place has great different monthly specialty donuts like Ghirardelli, Oreo, Chips Ahoy, and too many more to mention. Sign up online at KrispyKreme.com for exclusive email discounts or download the app that lets you pile up rewards every time you order ahead. Krispy Kreme, America's favorite donut.
Every now and then, you find a true hidden gem in a sea of ordinary, like Carrie's Nursery and Landscaping, a family-owned landscaping company on Meridian Road. It's more than a nursery. Full landscape designs, tree trimming and tree removal, sod, pavers and patios, drainage, land clearing, outdoor lighting, and water features. The list goes on and on. Shop local at Carrie's Nursery and Landscaping. You'll leave feeling blessed with an extended family you never knew you needed. Visit Carrie's Nursery and Landscaping off Meridian Road, just north of Ox Bottom.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
The last vestiges of what do we write about, what do we talk about, what do we do before the games begin. Luckily, the games begin tomorrow, and we won't get the silliness that we've talked about somewhat today with the headlines being Winston to start New Orleans. Of course he is. I mean, that was a given. But there's also these headlines whenever you go to a college football site anywhere. Who will win the Heisman? What the hell are we doing with this? On the 27th with who will win the Heisman. Get out of here with that nonsense. Who's clicking on that?
Maybe you want a prop bet before the season starts because you know something that they don't know.
No, there's plenty of that. You could do that. You can grab a prop bet on a Ohio State's running back, for example, is not a name that is being mentioned as much, but apparently they got a kid who they think is better than J.K. Dobbins already. He's never even started really. So, yeah, there are guys like that, but that's fine. That's for the hardcore in us to go out and do, but we need to write this story, do we?
That's not for that purpose, clearly. That's just, that's the fan clicks the article, hopes their own player is on the list, click. And a lot of people do that.
Well, obviously, and lists are popular, so you'll get the top 5 list. I have said this, and I've seen a lot of him. We were talking earlier in the show about Oklahoma, and there's been talk about maybe 4 or 5 guys on that very subject, not to engage in the very thing that I just made fun of.
Here we go.
But I will just I don't think Spencer Rattler is even close to a Heisman candidate. I don't get that. He's not good enough.
Yeah, he wasn't that impressive last year.
He's not great.
Nobody wanted to talk about that.
No, I'm telling you now, he's not great.
Well, you watch them closely, right?
He's not great. He's okay. I mean, he's a good player.
He's not Brett Hundley, right?
I mean, he's a good player, but come on now.
The face of the sport, Todd McShay on Brett Hundley.
Oh my goodness, we got to go grab all those audio that all that audio we used to have. That is too good to be true. Some of that stuff.
Well, that was written in his article, preseason article, as it was a Scouts Inc. article about who is going to be, a top 5 pick.
Mm-hmm.
And there was Brett Hundley because Brett Hundley is the face of the sport.
This is weird, and we're at the end of the show, so I'm just kind of going to take this off the chat because it made me smile, and I actually think it's a interesting question. I accidentally put up the wrong thing there.
You got a bad back. It's all right, Noel Dad. A lot of people do.
Nothing about that, Noel Dad. Coley wrote, FSU faithful, would you rather open with Texas or Southern Cal? Where's the game? Where's the game?
If it's on the road.
I have great affinity for Los Angeles.
Yep. There is a correct answer here.
It's Austin, but a lot of the cool stuff about Austin is going away.
That's true, but Austin is not the answer because it is bleep hot this time of year in Austin, just like it is here.
I just told you out in California where that game is tomorrow night, it's 102.
That's okay. You've got the Pacific Ocean. In Austin, all you've got are the rolling hills and the heat of the hill country. Not the high country.
Not the high country.
But the hill country.
But the hill country indeed.
And listen, it's not Houston, but there's a lot of concrete in Austin, Texas. Mm-hmm. It is a sizzler. So I would want to go out to the West Coast if it's an opener.
Yeah, the overriding answer is both would be great because I don't want this to be a neutral site situation. I want to continue to foster the idea. And we talked about that last night too. Jim Curry was over there at in Pensacola with us, and he talked about the upcoming schedule, and they've done a better job of scheduling, and they're getting excited about the idea of playing Alabama and playing Georgia and LSU and all those teams. And, it's kind of daunting right now as we sit here, but I would tell you he's right about that. I mean, a home and home with those teams, and really from here on out, avoiding the idea of playing over in Orlando or Jacksonville. And I know a lot of people are excited about the game against LSU in New Orleans, and I get that too. I love New Orleans. It's a great city.
I'm sure Pensacola was cool with that. It's right around the corner.
Well, it's one of my favorite cities, but I really would love to be in Baton Rouge, man. Watching a game there is incredible, electrifying. So I'm more about the collegial experience. I know the game is overwrought with money and feels very professional anymore. But when you step foot on a college campus, that's a different feel than when you do these neutral site things and you find yourself, in these just sort of banal, whatever, these sterile stadiums.
So what we need to do before the LSU game in New Orleans is just set up shop for the week and do shows from Biloxi. That's all. Just set up there.
Come on down, baby. Let's go.
We go there for the day and we come back. But we hang out in Biloxi for a week. We need to turn this into a win
week?
for us.
I don't think we'd survive a week in Biloxi, but I like the idea of going to Biloxi.
You're on. I'll give it a try.
You want to try? Yeah, Biloxi. Hey, listen. You're not going to hear me complaining about rolling on over to Biloxi, but I don't want to spend a week there. I don't think.
They've got beautiful golf courses.
Are we mixing it up? Are we not working? We're doing a whole lot of okay.
We can tell the people about those golf courses if they want to pay us.
Yeah, I believe we could. I mean, that's at the end of the show, you're going to sell your soul. I think in due time, my friend, in due time, we build it back up. First, FSU has got to get back to relevance to where we have the kind of interest nationally that would precipitate some sort of involvement of advertisers and people who want to see and be seen. We got to get there.
Well, I mean, we're huge, though. We've got MLB content, like probables. We've got weekly content.
Oh, my God. I breezed through it, didn't I? That's so well done on your part. That's terrible on my part. Rapid fire. Hit that probables, buddy.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
That's a producer extraordinaire picking up his host in a moment. That was really well done. You're right. North Florida Payroll Services, locally owned and operated. As I screw this up, for nearly 15 years, offering payroll and HR services, including full online applicant onboarding and integration into payroll. Save your company money and headaches today. Head to northfloridapayroll.com. Man, tired. Had a good time in Pensacola. It was fun meeting everybody, but I don't mean that kind of time.
Okay.
I just mean it was like, just got back late, tired.
Palafox didn't get you?
No, I was good. Cardinals, Pirates, Buccos won last night. J.A. Happ, Dylan Peters. D-backs, Phillies, Taylor Widener, Aaron Nola. Rays, Orioles, Shane McClanahan. Matt Harvey. Red Sox, Indians, Eduardo Rodriguez. Logan Allen. Nats, Mets, Pablo Espino, Rich Hill. Steven Matt's going to go for the Blue Jays. Tigers will throw Matt Manning. Reds, Marlins, Wade Miley, Zach Thompson, Giants, Braves. Great game. Kevin Galston, Max Fried. Astros, Rangers, Jake Odorizzi, Glenn Otto. Come on down to Glenn Otto. Get yourself a brand new Honda.
Now that's a read.
Cubs, White Sox, Keegan Thompson, Dallas Keuchel. Brewers, Twins, Eric Bauer, Andrew Albers. Padres, Angels, Joe Musgroves, TBD. Yanks, A's, Garrett Cole, Sean Manaea. Rockies, Dodgers, Kyle Freeland, TBD. Royals, Mariners, Chris Bubik. Logan Gilbert, and that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. Oh.
Dylan Peters sounds like the guy you don't want to get paired up with on the golf course.
Oh.
You brought 3 to the course and like, hey, we got Dylan Peters on your tee sheet.
No, you got home and your wife said, how'd it go? They stuck me with Dylan Peters.
There it is. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, hon.
Yep.
As always, he wouldn't shut up. Real quick update at the BMW Championship. Just because you're a 10 under through 15, Bryson DeChambeau, doesn't mean
that's correct.
He
is.
Does not mean that you can overcome Patrick Cantlay, who is now taking the lead. This is a beautiful thing for yours truly. What a day at the office.
Bye, YouTubers. You guys have a good weekend.
Yeah, be good, YouTubers. Love you.